All right. Hey, y'all, what's up? It's your girl, Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. And tonight, I'm going to try to cover as much as I can about the motion for new trial and give you guys all of the inside scoop. Now, before I get started, there's some housekeeping matters that I have to address first. But without further ado, make sure you guys come on in, welcome in. This is your girl, Neek at Night. And today's video, I am reporting live on location from the Next Generation Action Network office. They provided me the office space to do my live, and hopefully everything is looking good. I can't check the sound, but hopefully everything also is sounding good. And we're gonna get on into this gig. But let me put this intro up, and right after the intro, we're gonna get into it. Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. If this is your first time here, over here we are the Night Owls. If you have not hit that subscribe button, I want you to go ahead and do that right now. This is a channel where I talk about celebrity news and gossip and give my opinion on trending stories. But just know, keep in mind that over here, this is an acquired taste. You know what I'm saying? This ain't for everybody. So, proceed with caution. But, still hit that subscribe button. Anyways. All right. And back like I never left. So let's get on into this gig. Now, I am someone who covered the Karmelo Anthony trial before it was this phenomenon to cover. Now, as you guys know, during the trial, there was black media there, but this was not something that was covered on a, like as you see the coverage that Nolan Wells is getting, and it's just like everywhere. Well, when the trial started for Karmelo Anthony, it wasn't that much coverage as far as like round the clock coverage. Now, you did have some local stations in Dallas, and you had social media influencers like Queen Sheba, Gerald from the NC Beat, and the Public Opinion Court, so on and so forth, all covering the trial. If I, missed out your name, it's no diss, but I'm just trying to run on in there. Pretty Girl News, her friend Beverly, everybody that was down there. There was some of us that was there, but it wasn't covered as much as it has been now that the verdict has happened. So I attended the trial. I showed up every single day. I was in the main courtroom, and I was able to see this in person. It was heartbreaking to witness what was going on with the witnesses and how their stories were so inconsistent. It was heartbreaking to see how Mike Howard was hardly ever objecting. I think maybe I remember maybe like one or two objections in the whole thing from my purview of watching the trial. It could have been like maybe three, but he had, before the trial started, there was like the Batson challenge that he did. But during the trial, I'd hardly ever seen him like bringing the conversation back to self-defense. Bill Werski would always end everything with who provoked Karmelo? Was it self-defense? And he was asking a lot of the students that were testifying to offer a legal conclusion, and Mike Howard was supposed to object on the fact of them, giving a legal conclusion or a legal thing without challenging their knowledge of it, or without challenging, do you know what self-defense is? Define to me what self-defense is. How do you define somebody being an aggressor? Like, he never probed anymore. So like, I was watching it, and day by day, my heart was breaking for Karmelo, thinking, oh my God, this is a literal railroad that's happening. Now, we got to the verdict, and he was sentenced to 35 years. And after that, his family tried to put up a give, send, go, where they wanted to raise funds for this post-trial motions. They wanted to be able to assemble a better legal team, try to get more eyes on this so that they can try to get this sentence overturned. And constantly you've seen people like these supremacist influencers like sending lynch mobs to give, send, go, snatching down their fundraising. They thought they had it in the bag, right? They thought that if they cut off the resources of the community to help them get a lawyer, that he would just get railroaded. There would be, and by the time they raised the funds, it would be too late. Well, the Dream Team saw this happening. They said, you know what, we'll do you a solid and we will represent you for free. We'll come in with these highly experienced, trained lawyers. We're going to provide our services pro bono. And they got right to action. Immediately, I got a call from Russell Wilson to give him my knowledge of the trial. He was boots on the ground trying to figure out what was going on, what's the background information of the trial. He reached out to so many people, got statements. They started an investigation and really start digging into this thing so that Karmelo could get a fair shake. So this week I am in Dallas and I attended his motion for new trial, and I also attended the motion to recuse the judge. Now, the motion to recuse the judge happened first on August 19th, and it was a pretty quick hearing. Basically, they played the 18-minute interview that he did with WFAA. They showed how the judge, just 2 days after the verdict, had all of these statements that looked like a biased judge who would then have to rule on the motion for new trial. He would have to still do rulings in this case. And from his statements that he did on that interview, it looked like he was extremely biased. So Russell Wilson and his extraordinary team got into action, and they said, listen, we want to recuse the judge. We want a motion for new trial, etc. Now, as soon as they put in these motions, you saw again these supremacist influencers sending lynch mobs and hate to everybody covering the case. Anybody who they felt was in support of Karmelo, they would flood people, try to give all these threats, try to back everybody down from getting justice for Karmelo Anthony. But that didn't stop the Dream Team. There was so many people who said that it's impossible. There's no way that Judge Roach will be recused. He will not be recused at all. There's zero chance of it. It's not going to happen. It won't happen. Blah, 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 blah. There was so much, oh yeah, we're confident. It was so much cockiness from the other side that it almost started to be a little disgusting, if you will. But the Dream Team got busy. They got in there, they got to work, and boom, the judge was recused, okay? Then the Dream Team also started the motion for new trial. Now, the motion for new trial is started on August 20th. So in order to be in the main courtroom where the proceedings happen, they gave 40 tickets out for the public. The seats of the 40 seats, by 5 a.m. in the morning, all of those seats were gone. So if you did not get to the courthouse at 5 a.m. or, 3 a.m. between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. to secure your spot, then they had the overflow room. So anybody else who wasn't in the main courtroom, then they went into the overflow room. Now, on the first day, I was number 7. The second day, for the recusal, I was number 7. I got to the courthouse, I want to say right at 4 a.m. and I was already number 7. Then the day the motion for new trial started, I was there bright and early again. I think I was number 12 that day. Now, by yesterday, I was exhausted because I was going. Now, the motion for new trial was a long proceeding. We got there 4 a.m. It started at 9 a.m. and then we didn't get out of the courthouse until 6. I had to go to my Airbnb, get situated, get food, settle in. And then by the time I did my live, and go to sleep, it was time to be back up for the next day. So yesterday, a lot of you guys reached out to me because I did not do a live in the morning. I didn't do a live during lunch, and I didn't do a live after court because, let me tell you, I was literally running off of fumes. But it was very important for me to witness the motion for new trial. And I wanted to be in the main courtroom because even though you hear everything in the overflow room, you just get to really feel it when you're there and you see them. Because when you're in the overflow room, it's similar to like when trials are streamed online. Like, let's say I was at home, right, and I watched the YSL trial. It's kind of like you watching a live stream. But when you're there and you're in the courtroom and you see like all of the stuff that the cameras don't catch, you really get a sense of the full picture. And I wanted to be able to describe to you guys the full picture. So for the first day of the motion for new trial, and as you guys come on in, I see you guys with your purple hearts. Hey, y'all. I see you guys in the chat. Make sure you like the video. Also, make sure you guys hype the video. Share the video, okay? We need you guys to share the video. Make sure that I'm in the algorithm. But all right, so let me just I'm gonna just try to give you guys some quick behind the scenes stuff really quick, and then we're gonna get into the important stuff. So first day, Jeff Metcalf, he comes in and he's wobbling around. And he looks over because they kind of put some distance between the people that was coming in the public and when they escorted the family in. So the family goes in, and one thing that I will say, even though I stick by my opinion where I feel like Megan and Jeff raised some very, very horrible humans. However, one credit that I can give Megan Metcalf is the fact that she's not there for the circus, right? She's not there for the hoopla. She's there to witness proceedings that pertain to her baby. She goes in the courtroom. She's not trying to mad dog people. She's not trying to eye people. She's not there for the BS. She just there to go, it got to do with my son. I'm there, I'm showing up, whatever. Jeff Metcalf is a total, you know what, and you see why the kids ended up how they ended up. Jeff Metcalf, from the first day he got there, he was eyeing us, right? Like he walks in, he's looking at us up and down or whatever, and then he's laughing ha ha, wobbling as he trying to shift through security and looking at us just childish. This is something serious, okay? You have your deceased son and you have this serious proceeding and you're acting like it's a joke. He acts like it's a literal joke. So he goes in and we go into the courtroom, and there's a lot of people who showed up wearing purple. So, there's public seating that is behind him, and he's looking at people and he's looking them up and down looking them up and down, just full of theater and performance on what should be something very serious. Again, taking it as a joke, mad dogging people, looking them up and down, just unnecessary stuff for such a serious matter. So he's doing all of that stuff. It continued every single day. Every single day he had BS that he was doing, looking at people, looking at them up, just craziness. And he's the only one that was with this foolishness. Again, like I said, even though I think that in order to raise these racist individuals, it has to come, I feel like the root comes from the parents, and whether his mother is also a racist or not, she's not with that foolishness. So I just want to make that clear in the distinction that Jeff Metcalf is a lone wolf that is just a tyrant. Now, throughout this proceeding, he has been trying to taunt Dominique Alexander, who is the activist that has been speaking out on behalf of the Karmelo Anthony family. So on one of the days, he went up and he was like, say it to my face, as it pertains to Dominique Alexander. And so I guess yesterday he went into Dominique Alexander's inbox and he was basically threatening him that he's going to do something to him. Now, I want to make something clear. Jeff Metcalf did not message me. There was a mix-up, right? Because my name is Neek at Night and Dominique Alexander's name is Dominique. when I reposted the message that he sent to Dominique Alexander, people thought that he was threatening me. Okay, so I just wanted to make that clear that the message that I reposted, because there was some people that picked it up and they thought that he was threatening me, but it was somebody else. So this is the screenshot that I posted. I put message Jeff sent to Dominique Alexander. My name is not Dominique. But again, I think when people saw that, they assumed that I was saying message that he sent to me, but I put message Jeff sent to Dominique Alexander. And as you can see, this is the DM. He says, say it to my face, you're a coward. Called you out, because he called him out at the courthouse. Called you out and you slither away. When the denied ruling is issued, you going to have another press conference, ? I promise to attend. See you around. So if you guys know anything about, you guys say I'm echoing. It's echoey in the in the what do you say? The office. So if there is an echo, I'm sorry. There's nothing really I could do about it, but hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. Matter of fact, let me pull up my live before I go any further. Let's see, because I can't really do anything about the echo. It's like the acoustics in the room. Let me see, because I can't really do anything about the echo. It's like the acoustics in the room. It's fine. Okay. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. So, all right. So, what was I saying? So, basically, he's been acting a stone cold fool. So, if you guys know anything about this case, right, they tried to vilify Karmelo Anthony's family because Jeff Metcalf was escorted out of the press conference that they had. So when this situation first started, the family did a press conference. Jeff Metcalf showed up. Who knows what his intentions are, because he's raising these thugs, and that I'm sure the apple doesn't fall far from a tree. They have all of these assaults on women, all of this violence, choking their mama out, hitting people, all of this stuff. So who knows what he's capable of, because he raised them. And Karmelo Anthony's family escorted him out. Well, all over Collins County, they basically vilified the Anthony family because they escorted him out, because I don't know if you're coming in good faith or not. I don't know what your intentions are. And as we see how he's threatening people and he's threatening to show up at the next press conference, who knows what this man is capable of? He acted a stone cold fool up at that courthouse, okay? Trying to get a reaction, trying to cause fights, trying to do stuff. The same thug behavior that we saw mentioned in the motion for new trial is the same thug behavior that he exhibited at that courthouse, and he's threatening, like, because what is this? Telling people like, oh yeah, I'm going to show up. What you going to do? Like, I'm going to show up at the next one. These people are dangerous, okay? They like to act like they are not, but they're dangerous. Now, another thing that I also want to mention as well, the guy who was with Sarah, he has been coming to the courthouse as well, right? So he has been coming to the courthouse. One of the days he started to try to start a fight with my security. So I had a member of the new Black Panther Party provide security for me. So if you guys know anything about that situation, they sent Proud Boys up there to try to intimidate me during the trial. It was a very emotional thing for me, just because I didn't have faith that if they tried to do something to me, that the sheriffs would assist. Like they were allowing Sarah to create all of these fake false narratives online, target anybody that was Black up there. They were letting her reign supreme on everybody, doxing people. She was doing all kind of foul stuff during the trial, and it was going unchecked. She was able to do it. And while she was doing it, she was playing victim on it. She had her little goon Sippy there also going hand in hand. Now, Sippy, he was there, and in the morning, the first day for the recusal, my security, we were like a couple people in line from him. So there was kind of like some distance between us. The second day, he was next in line. So the new Black Panther Party, I reached out. I said, hey, I'm probably going to need security. You can't trust what these people are capable of. Even though when I look at him, he looks like a little punk and a little coward. Like he could never actually make direct eye contact. And that's most of the time that's kind of telling when somebody's like a literal punk and a coward. Like they can never really look at you dead in the eye. But even though like I'm looking at him and I think he's a punk and a coward, those are the main people who will hurt you, and you never know what they're capable of. So I reached out to the new Black Panther Party. There was questions people asked, and they were like, hey, Neek, like, are you a Black Panther? And I'm like, no, I'm not a Black Panther. But I reached out to them because they were there to offer protection to anybody that was Black at the Karmelo Anthony trial that was being targeted the first time. And so I reached out. I said, hey, there's going to be this new hearing. I'm probably going to need security. And they said, no problem. We'll provide you with the full security detail. We will have you covered from the time you get off the plane to the time you leave here. You'll be straight. So I got a security person assigned to me. And the second day, he was next in line. He already is aware of all of the stuff that Sarah and them have been doing online, all of the BS that they've been doing. So in line, it was me, it was my security, and then it was Sippy. So clearly he's not going to turn his back to Sippy. So because Sippy is the next person, he, like, me and him was kind of back to back. Like I was front facing in line and he turned his back to me to keep his eye on Sippy because he was directly behind him. So Sippy's looking at him and he's like, oh, you need to turn around, dude. Like, you ain't nothing but a racist. You're a racist. You ain't nothing but a racist. Like trying to taunt him, like trying to like look and go up, trying to get a reaction. These people are relentless, and then they go online and act like they're the victim. So it's very important that we, let people know how they operate. But I'm going to try to stream it along. So the reason why I'm also bringing him up is Donat, even though Donat is an op, he was able to catch what they were saying on one of their court recaps. So, like I said, Sippy has been coming to the trial for Sarah, right? He has been trying to write, the same BS narratives that she does. He's there to do that for her throughout the trial and start mess to try to get a reaction. Now, he went and did a recap of the trial and went back to report on some live stream. Now, they're saying that this voice that is saying that Karmelo Anthony should be hanged, they're saying now that Donat has reposted it, they're saying that it's not Sippy. But if you listen to Sippy's voice, it sounds like him. So before I play what they're reporting and what they're saying, I just want to preface it with they're claiming that it's not Sippy, even though it sounds like him, and it's a stream that he's doing to recap the Karmelo Anthony trial. I'm going to play that for you guys just really quickly, and then we are going to get on into this, the information for the motion, okay? But I just wanted to clear up a couple things first before we got into that. So, all right, so this is Donat's X account. And it says, hold on, let me see, make sure y'all can see it. It says, Sarah Fields really left her gay bestie Sippy Cup out here to fend for himself, and now the wheels are completely off the wagon. Now he's over on Rumble making disgusting, racist statements that Karmelo Anthony should be swinging from a tree. So again, this is his stream. Now, even if this is not him saying it, because after all, it sounds like him, but they're saying it's not him. Even if this is not him saying it, this shows the type of narrative, the type of spaces they create, how dangerous they are. They're mimicking the rhetoric that Jake Lang had. And it's very dangerous. And, you know, I just want to make people aware. So as you can see, this is Sippy Cup. This is his stream. Now, let me mute my audio so that you guys can hear it.
This is psychopathic. This is psychopathic, and this is the mind of a deranged, depraved individual. And this guy, in my mind, this is why Roper v. Simmons was such a terrible decision in 2005 by the Supreme Court, because of the abomination known as Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the other liberal lunatics that were on that court. And we should have the death penalty for minors, because this kid should be swinging from a tree, in my estimation. He should face the death penalty and he should be swinging. This is psychopathic. This is psychopathic, and this is the mind of a deranged, depraved individual. And this guy, in my mind, this is why Roper v. Simmons was such a terrible decision in 2005 by the Supreme Court, because of the abomination known as Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the other liberal lunatics that were on that court. And we should have the death penalty for minors, because this kid should be swinging from a tree, in my estimation. He should face the death penalty and he should be swinging. This is psychopathic. This is psychopathic, and this is the mind of a deranged, depraved individual.
All right. So, like I said, full disclosure, because I'm not like them. If there is information that combats it, I'm going to give you guys the full scope. They're saying, even though that's Sippy's stream, even though that sounds like him, they're saying that's not him. Okay, cool. The death penalty does not hang people. So the fact that they are saying in reference to Karmelo Anthony's punishment, and they're using these racist ideologies or these racist things that would happen to black people back when, and the things that have been showing up, we have been seeing so many supposed suicides where black people are being hung from trees like every other month these days. The fact that in relation to them saying that he should get the death penalty, and then the punishment that they say that he should have is him swinging from a tree, is very concerning. And these are the type of people, and even if it's not Sippy, this is a space that he's curating. This is a space that he's encouraging and welcoming these type of ideas. This is the type of stuff that Sarah Fields engulfs and ignites and incites on her social media, and it goes unchecked. This is the stuff that they're putting out there. So even if it's not Sippy, it's his space. Did he correct it? Did he say that that ideology is wrong? I don't know. I didn't listen to it. Donat is the one who got this clip. But it shows you the mindset that they are. Now, Sippy himself did say that they should go medieval on, folks and start cutting them out of the tongue. Okay, when it came to Janetta Brantley, the audio engineer who enhanced the CETO call. So these people like to put up their gifts and goes. They like to act like they're the victims, but they're literal tyrants, okay? And they're literally dangerous. And you see what they are pushing outside of their spaces. So again, sorry to spend so much time on that, but I just want to make you guys aware of what's going on around social media, because they will try to craft a whole new narrative, right? They will, again, Sippy is bragging on his social media about how he got into my security's face, how he called my security racist. He's bragging about it. But had Sarah been there, they would have been playing victim if somebody would have cursed her ass out. They would have spun it and made her be the victim to BS that they're doing. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. These things are, while we're there and we're covering the trial and we're there and we're covering the motions. These are the atmospheres that we are in to bring you guys the information. We're out there, even though I have a security detail, I don't know what they're capable of. You know, I don't know. These people are evil, in my opinion. Okay? These people are evil. And then it's like, how are you calling somebody racist? Like, look at your page. Look at the people that you target. Like, how, like, is you cool? Is you cool? Anyways, so, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Y'all make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. Now, let's get on into the motions. Now, like I told you guys, the motion to recuse the judge was a very quick hearing. It was granted and Judge John Roach was recused. Within a few hours of the recusal, they got a new judge to overhear the motion for new trial. It is, I think his name was Judge Chitty, out of Kaufman County. So he oversaw the arguments for the motion for new trial. He came in, he introduced himself. He said that he was out of Kaufman County. He's, gave his history as a judge, and I think he said that he didn't know Judge Roach, if I'm not mistaken. He said he didn't know him. Let me look at my notes really quickly. He said that he didn't, I believe he said he didn't know him. Let's see. I wrote it down somewhere, but I believe he said that he didn't know him, but whatever. So anyways, all right, so during the motion for new trial, there was several witnesses that took the stand to basically tell their experience throughout this trial. One of the first witnesses that was called to testify was a black man by the name of Derek Jackson. Derek Jackson was the public information officer, and he was overseeing the operational things and the public relations of the Karmelo Anthony trial. Now, he had several meetings with Judge John Roach as far as how the trial would be run, if there was anything that was going to go on with the overflow room, how like the logistical stuff with the media, who's selected for the media, who's not selected for the media. Now, Derek Jackson wanted to be fair. He wanted to give the same chance that he gave to the legacy media, he wanted to also give to the independent media as well. Derek Jackson gets called to the stand. He basically talks about how he was hired as the PIO, how any information that he would give one publication, if there was another publication that asked for the same information, he would share it to all. Like, he wouldn't cherry pick on who gets the information. He said that he was trying to be fair across the board. So he got a tentative schedule. He got a tentative schedule for the first 4 days of trial. Basically, how the trial was going to go for the first 4 days. And the Associated Press reached out to him for the schedule. He gave the Associated Press the schedule, and it didn't seem like there was no problems. Judge John Roach, the office, nobody had an issue with him giving this 4-day schedule to the Associated Press. So then there was a guy by the name of Christopher King. He reached out to the PIO and he said, hey, do you guys have the schedule for the court hearing? So Derek Jackson, he said, sure. He just had given it to the Associated Press. So he copied it and forwarded the same information that he gave to the Associated Press. He gave it to Christopher King. Now, Christopher King is somebody who has heavily scrutinized the prosecution of this case. They don't like him. And when he got this information, they were outraged. Bill Werski called Derek Jackson and he wanted to speak to his supervisor. He said that, where's your supervisor? I need to speak to your supervisor, and basically got him fired. Now, during the motion for new trial, when he crossed the witness, he tried to act like, oh, you're such a nice guy, like trying to butter him up like he didn't directly get him fired. Like, oh, I didn't know that you were going to get fired, but you calling his supervisor to chew him out, and they like the games that they play is crazy. So anyways, basically they call him, tell him they want to speak to the supervisor. The supervisor sets up a meeting for Derek to go speak to the judge the next morning. Derek goes to see the judge in his chambers, and the judge lets him have it. He said for about 6 minutes, the judge is just like ripping and tearing into him and just going off on him for giving this schedule to Christopher King. They were upset. They were livid. And he said he wasn't even able to defend himself. He couldn't even get a word in, okay? He says, you know, I thought that I would be able to go and explain myself, but he could not even get a literal, like he couldn't get a word in. The judge was just going off on him. And when the judge was going off on him, he threatened him with contempt. Okay, he said, we could throw you in jail for 60 days. We can give you a fine. Like, basically, like, we can make your life a living hell. Okay, so Derek, he's testifying. He says, you know, during this time, like, he's thinking about, oh my God, I could go to jail. Like, this is pretty serious. You know, the judge is just like ripping into him. He's trying to figure out, like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to, you know, like, look out for my family? Like, if they send me to jail, blah, 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 blah. So then he says that the meeting with the judge ends. So he's like, phew, okay, I didn't go to jail, you know. And then as he's walking out, they give him a yellow folder. And in the folder, it's basically like, you're fired. And so he's like, what? Like, he gets fired. So he loses his job. He doesn't go to jail, but he gets fired. He loses his job. And Russell Wilson was trying to understand, you know, like, okay, so what happened? So Bill Werski, he crosses him. He's like, oh, you're one of the nicest people that I ever know. Like, you're so nice. Da, 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 da. Russell Wilson is like, okay, so since you've been fired, has he reached out to you? Has he tried to get your job back? Oh, no, he hasn't. Oh, okay. Like, because Bill Werski was trying to say, like, oh, you're such a nice guy. I respect you so much. You're like trying to, like, no, you got that man fired, and now you in court playing in his face. So that happens or whatever. They go over that. And the reason why he got fired is because that specific trial schedule was supposed to be like not given out. And that was supposed to be, I guess, a part of the gag order, right? So that was supposed to be a part of the gag order. That specific schedule was supposed to be under the gag order. And so Russell Wilson was like, so it's from your understanding that they didn't have a problem with the Associated Press violating, or the gag order being violated for the Associated Press. They were okay with that, but they had a problem with you giving, so they pick and choose who violates the gag order. Well, that's important to note because later, towards the end of the motion for new trial, when it was time for Bill Werski to testify, we find out that members of the Metcalf family have been violating this gag order. So we find out that they are the members of the Metcalf family during the lead up to the trial. They were supposed to be under a gag order. They were not supposed to give any pertinent information out. They were not supposed to leak anything. They were not supposed to be speaking about the case, etc. So, and hold on, what's going on my Facebook? Who needs to leave? Hold on. Uh, let me see. How do I go?
We're on that court, and we
Hold on. Y'all saying somebody, okay. Okay, I got whoever that was out. So anyways, so what we find out when Bill Worski gets on the stand is that members of the Metcalf family were posting things on Facebook that they were not supposed to. They were violating the gag order, okay? They were violating the gag order. Now, Derek Jackson, he gets threatened with contempt of court. He gets threatened that he's going to be put to jail. He gets fired from his job. Okay, he loses his livelihood for a trial schedule that was an honest mistake. The Metcalf family is outright, intentionally violating the gag order. They're posting stuff on Facebook that they're not supposed to post. Does that get put in the record? No. Do they get threatened with jail or contempt of court? No. So basically what happened was when this matter got sent to the judge, he felt sympathy for the Metcalf family and the optics. They didn't want the optics of putting family members of a grieving family in jail. So this family member who violated the gag order, they didn't get the same threats that the black man got, who gave an honest mistake. They are coddled because they're family members of the victim, okay? And I say the victim with air quotes because even though he lost his life, just because you lose in the fight, you know what I mean? We don't know. But so according to them, because members of the family violate the order, the gag order, they're handled with kitten gloves. And Russell Wilson was trying to figure out why some rules apply to some people and not others. Oh, Russell Wilson is a bad mama jamma. Okay, and I don't know if you could say mama jamma for men, but he's a bad mother. Okay, when I tell you Russell Wilson is not to be played with, I was in that courthouse like, get him. Russell Wilson, I have not seen lawyering to that level for quite some time. Now, when I saw the YSL trial, Brian Steele did phenomenal lawyering. Some people feel like, he's overhyped or whatever. He did some phenomenal lawyering, okay? When I went to the T.I. and Tiny trial for their civil case, their lawyer, John Kevill, top tier, amazing, phenomenal lawyer. The next time that I saw phenomenal lawyering, we're going to have to go with Russell Wilson, okay? And now he does have this whole dream team assembled. But baby, the way that he methodically goes through his points, the way that he calls out stuff, he does it in the man, like I said, he's not to be played with, okay? That is a bad mother, okay? Trial, period. So anyways, so Russell Wilson is so the rules just apply to some people and not others? Because after all, either the rules apply to everyone or the rules apply to no one. But again, we saw how they operated, okay? We saw the optics. And it's unfortunate that Austin lost his life. It's unfortunate that he thought that he should go and put his hands on somebody like he did all the other times, okay? All of the other times he assaulted people, jumping people, talking about, all of those things, when those people are left with scars, it's unfortunate that he tried that same assault that he did all these other times and it ended his life. It's sad that he lost his life, but had he not put his hands on Karmelo, he'd still be here today. But the optics are interesting, okay? It's very interesting how the rules don't apply to everybody, okay? And again, either the rules apply to all or they don't apply to none. So anyways, so Derek Jackson is the first witness. He goes on the stand and he talks about how he lost his job, how he was threatened with contempt, all of the things like that, and how that happened. Now, the next witness that was an important witness was Mike Howard. So Mike Howard was the lawyer for Karmelo Anthony, and he had a co-counsel of Toby Shook, okay? And so he was also a witness in the case. But before I go into that, let me tell you a little bit of Russell's, his opening. So he basically wanted to ask for a new trial. His first claim is that Karmelo Anthony has a right to a public trial, and he feels as though the restrictions that Judge Roach put into place violated Karmelo's constitutional rights. His second claim was the gentleman agreement that the prosecution had with the defense team. Now, this gentleman agreement is something that they both heavily relied on in order to make this trial go without a hitch, right? Like let's come to terms so that we don't have a problem later in the trial. Let's decide that instead of telling all of the horrible things that can come up, let's keep out character of both of them and run the trial to only the things that happen under the tent, right? So it's let's just go with what happened under the tent. And character was left out of it. So we didn't know the extent. I knew that Austin Metcalf and Hunter were bullies. I knew that there was a possible component of racism. However, during the trial, none of that stuff came up. They painted him like an angel, like, oh, he just lightly touched Karmelo. This is the same boy that literally put a girl in the hospital and was arrested at 10 years old. Do you know how bad the situation had to be for you to get arrested at 10 years old? This boy put somebody in the hospital. He got all of these confrontations, but they wanted to dumb it down and want us to believe that, oh, he just was stepping up. His coach told him to step up that day. Okay, all he was doing was stepping up, and Karmelo provoked him. Even though Hunter spoke to Karmelo first. Austin put his hands on Karmelo first, but they want you to believe that even though Karmelo was seated, he never got out of his seat until he defended himself. He didn't say anything to them first. They want you to believe that Karmelo provoked them. So they run the trial and they're like, we're going to try it clean. We're not going to bring up character evidence. We're not going to bring up, the fact that they had this bad history. We're not going to bring up the concerning things that Karmelo Anthony has. We are just going to try the case without any of that identifiable pattern of behavior that can give you the full picture. We're going to limit it to make them look a particular way and vilify Karmelo as this cold-blooded murderer. And also, they presented facts to the jury that Karmelo and Austin never knew each other. And they were careful the way that they phrased it. They said prior to the stabbing that they never met, when the truth that came out in this motion is although they never met, they knew who each other was. Carmelo Anthony at a basketball game that was close in time to the stabbing, Carmelo Anthony witnessed the Metcalf thugs jumping a boy. He saw them jumping a boy. Okay? This is in their record that they jumped this boy at a basketball game, that Carmelo Anthony was in attendance, and it was similar timing to the stabbing. Carmelo saw how they got down. He saw how at the basketball game they were saying, we want to take on anybody. Like they with all the smoke for everybody, right? So they jumped this kid. Carmelo Anthony saw it at the basketball game. So then you fast forward to the track meet, they're framing it like, oh, Carmelo doesn't know him. He knows nothing about them. And Carmelo just murdered them in cold blood. That's not what happened. And so this gentleman agreement that they came up with, it took out all of the important background information on the twins. It took out all of the important information that told the full picture. Now, yes, Carmelo did have some concerning things in his phone, and I'm not one of those people that's going to not call a spade a spade. Some of the stuff in his phone, now, Carmelo, come on now. Some of that stuff now was tea. Okay. Carmelo has some concerning stuff in his phone, but so they thought, okay, well, there's this toxic stuff that he's sending his girlfriend. You know how, him and his girlfriend are talking, and, they got some toxic stuff in there. And they're like, they can use this to frame it a particular way. He has this text message where he says that he's going to stab somebody and lick the blood off the blade. And, this was a situation where there was a stabbing and, like that. So they decided, okay, the Metcalf thugs have all of these actual assaults, right? Because let's be clear, okay? The supremacist mob, they want you to believe that the optics between Carmelo and these Metcalf thugs are the same. It is not. Where Carmelo has text messages of a kid just, and some of it looked like rap lyrics. Let's be so for real here, okay? When they were cherry picking certain stuff that they were putting on the screen, some of that stuff looked like rap lyrics. And it looked like some stuff that was taken out of context. Other messages look like, now I don't know if y'all got kids, but I do. My daughter is on her phone all the time. So what my daughter will do is she will be on like a game and they will text stuff that's going on in the game. And let me see if I could open up this door, because maybe it'll alleviate, if I open it up a little bit, some of the echo. So hold on 1 second. Maybe if I open up the it'll take away some of the echo. Let me see. Can I open the this door right here? Yeah. Because I feel like if I open it, it'll be less echo. No, it's still rolling. They can hear me. I was just saying if I open this, some of the sound echo probably go out. Okay. I don't know if that works, but all right, I'm back. All right, so it's still echoing, so never mind. It didn't help. I thought it would help a little bit, but so anyways, so where was I at? Dang, I'm so bad at multitasking. What was the last thing that I said? Darn it. The text messages. I think I was talking about the text messages. What was the last thing I said? Oh, the messages. Oh, okay, the gaming. Sorry. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have kids, but some of the text messages that they were cherry picking to try to make Karmelo look like this bad kid, you should have saw, like, when they were putting it on the screen, they were like picking like just one sentence and putting it on the screen, but like the whole text thread wasn't there, right? So they were cherry picking certain things. They did this in the YSL trial, and we found out some of the stuff that they were trying to use in text messages, even in the YSL trial, it was rap lyrics. So I don't know all of the lyrics and stuff, whatever, but some of that stuff that they were trying to frame, to me, it looked like rap lyrics. Now, I'm a mom, I have a daughter, and she's into gaming. So also what my daughter does is she'll be on like one of those games, and she'll text her friends while she's on the game, right? So some of that, like Glock switch or switches or get the switch or some of that stuff, because clearly Karmelo, he hasn't been arrested of shooting anybody with a Glock switch. He doesn't have all of these assaults like these Metcalf thugs. Like, there's a difference from text messages and a history of assaults, violence, and racism. That's two different things. But some of it looked like, you know how the kids, like, they'll be texting while they're playing the game and saying certain stuff like, oh, get the switch, or, you know, or 2 shots, that's what it looked like. Again, we won't know the full picture unless they put him under cross-examine and he explains what it is, or somebody else can explain what they mean. But that's what it looked like to me. Now, as it pertains to the Metcalf thugs, there was a lot of stuff that they had been saying. There was a lot of stuff on their rap sheet, okay? If you guys go to Instagram, Teslyn, she works with Ben Crump, and she got the exclusive fouling of this stuff that they were saying to people. Hold on one second. Let me pull up this. All right. So Teslyn Figaro, she got the exclusive exhibit where it shows all of the aggressive stuff, all of the different assaults that they had. And she posted it onto her Instagram. So let me pull it up and we'll go through it, and then I'll tell you guys more. So during the motion for new trial, this is something that the defense showed the character and the behavior of the Metcalf twins, right? So it says, revealed in Karmelo Anthony's motion for new trial, shocking new evidence about Austin Metcalf's background, including allegations of grabbing his mother's throat, racial, criminal history, and school suspensions. This evidence was never presented at the first trial. So first, Russell Wilson, they showed all of this stuff of these assaults, these arrests. So when it came time for Bill Werski to get on the stand, they tried to do the same thing to Karmelo. So that's basically what happened. Like, they were like, oh, you guys showed all this bad stuff about Austin. Well, we're going to try to cherry pick some BS about Karmelo. Like, that's what it was. But Teslyn has the actual things that they were doing in the record. So let me move my Cash App over. If you guys want to support, my Cash App is down here. You could Cash App me, you could Super Chat me. I have been boots on the ground. Now, like, I literally, as soon as I'm done with this live, I gotta rush to the airport. I'm thinking about pushing my flight back so that I can have more time to go over some of this stuff with y'all, but I'm gonna have to pay like $300 to move it. So I'm gonna have to wrap things up pretty quickly. It took me a long time to go through everything, but if y'all support, I could get my flight moved back. I could sit and take a little bit more time with y'all. My Cash App is Neek at Night Media, but I have to close up shop and run to the airport in a little bit. So, anyways, that's my Cash App if y'all want to donate. But Teslin posted up, this is the actual exhibit that we saw in the trial. So on December 24th, 2024, Austin or Hunter was standing over the other, I guess their mother, grabbing her throat aggressively. Okay, so they did a Cellbrite dump of their phone, and they were able to see everything in their phone. So on the phone, they saw that there was a video on December 24th, 2024, they were standing over their mom, grabbing her throat, angry, and aggressively grabbing their mom's throat. Okay, it says Austin using the N-word, talking about another student named Keon. Then there was another instance where Austin was using the N-word and his friend made a racist joke. Then there was another instance on there where Austin was using the N-word with the hard R. Then Austin was calling his dad the N-word when he was upset. So it says Austin calling his dad the N-word and asking his dad, "Can you read?" when his dad didn't understand what Austin was saying. Austin calling his dad the N-word after his dad told him and Hunter to take their ADHD medication. Then there was another instance where Austin was holding a butterfly knife saying, "Come F with me now." There was another thing where it says, this is what I was talking to you guys about the basketball game. Karmelo Anthony once saw Austin or Hunter get into, because mind you, they're identical twins, so people mistake one for the other, but one thing is not mistaken, is either or is the Metcalf boy. So it says, Anthony once saw Austin or Hunter get into a fight with a kid at a basketball game and can describe knowing that at least one of them are aggressive and prone to start fights. Russell Wilson went into this with a little bit more detail. He said that Karmelo Anthony saw them beating up this kid and they were like jumping him. And then they were like, come on, like who won it type of energy, like who won it? This was like close in time to the stabbing. So he saw them like jumping kids. So then that break takes you to the track meet where there's all of these kids like, you don't belong around here, boy, get from under our tent energy. And he protected himself. So anyways, then it goes on to the arrest of Hunter and Austin when they used racist graffiti, okay? So as you can see right here, it says they went somewhere. It's caught on body cam. They have body cam footage of this, and it said AKK kill all black people, and then they wrote the N-word in graffiti, and then it said Hail Hitler. Okay, on there it says they have a picture of the graffiti incident. It says a part of the graffiti, it said Hail Hitler, and then I guess next to it was an upside down cross. It said also this was captured on body cam footage. So on the body cam footage, you can see the officers talking to Austin and Hunter at Sonic after the graffiti incident. Austin said, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism." He said it was only him and not Hunter. Austin said he used green spray paint, and he is the one that said KKK, kill all black people. Logan, which is, I believe, one of the other boys that was involved, I think I remember hearing the name Logan during the trial. It says Logan said they took it a little far with the racial slurs and said he drew a private part, only said both Austin and Hunter but Logan said that Austin and Hunter painted the graffiti. Logan's mom said, I would rather him learn now than in 5 years and I have to deal with a body bag or something. This is on body cam. When the officer questioned Hunter, he admitted to spray painting the upside down cross, because remember, they lied at first and said, oh no, Austin said it was just him. He admitted to spraying the upside down cross and the slur, Hail Hitler. The body cam footage of the officer, taking pictures of the graffiti. So they have all of this, which can be shown in a trial. It says the officer they also have a report from the officer for the graffiti incident. It says Austin's criminal history, they have that summarized with multiple assaults causing bodily harm, bodily injury charges, and he had a graffiti charge. Austin, Metcalf, and Hunter received 12 months of probation through the Denton County Community Supervision and Corrections Department for the graffiti incident. All right. It says on their phone, it says Austin messages about killing a student sitting on a bench behind theirs at the track meet. So again, we have another situation at the track meet. Before the situation with Karmelo, they have text messages at a track meet of a Hispanic boy, not Karmelo. This is a completely different incident. Similar in time, or close in time, they were at a track meet. There was an Hispanic boy sitting at a bench behind their thing. They're sending text messages telling each other to kill that MFer. So as you can see, it says another student, Luke, and said that Edgar behind our bench was talking wild. Edgar is slang for a young ghetto Hispanic boy. Austin texted and said, kill that MFer. On April 1st, remember when they lied and said that Karmelo was suspended from school? He wasn't supposed to be at the track meet. They projected Austin's history onto Karmelo. So it says that Hunter was banned from the teacher's classroom on April 1st, a day before this incident, all right? So in Snapchat messages, Christian said, we grounded from Stefan's advisory until next week, and Hunter kept kicking the door, and Miss James got mad. Hunter said, no, we not. I'm talking to her. F that weak-ass teacher. All right? So he was banned from a teacher's classroom on April 1st. All right, so then they have messages where Hunter was talking about jumping kids from Independence track meet at a prior track meet. All right, so it says Hunter said, these shitty indie kids talking. All right, these shitty indie kids talking. Independence High School, sorry, not Indian, but there's a lot of Indians in Collin County. These shitty indie kids talking, referring to Independence High School track students. Hunter then said, let's jump them. And then someone from an unknown number said, someone recorded. And Hunter said, I got it. Now, mind you, in the footage of the track meet of Karmelo Anthony, there's witnesses who saw Eddie Parra with his phone out. According to Eddie Parra, he didn't record the fight or the incident, even though there's witnesses who saw him with his phone out and looked like he was recording. When the officer got Eddie Parra the day of the incident, they didn't go through his phone and really dive into and do like a cell phone dump to get if there was something deleted. All they did, the officer just looked at his phone. Okay, you said that there's no delete. He looked at it and then he gave him his phone back. So, but they have messages where they're telling each other like, okay, we gonna jump them. We gonna like somebody recorded all of this stuff. Okay. So, then during a February 3rd, 2025 conversation, Austin used the N-word and said, fuck Edwin Parra. And Hunter said, we have two N-words, you gonna punt. So I don't know if he meant punk or punch, but it says that you're gonna, or if he meant it in the football terms like it says, punt. Okay? So they're zeroing in on African American kids. Now, Edwin Parra, he looks like he's of mixed race. He looks like he's like Hispanic and black. So Edwin Parra, the boy that was in the center of the Carmelo Anthony thing, they even targeting him like, oh, you got two N-words that you're gonna punt. But this to me could mean that you're gonna punk or punch or punt. It says punt, but you know, and N is short for the N-word. During October 23rd, 2023, Austin bullied Tehran, a black student in class, and used racial slurs. It says on 10/3/23 and 10/19/23, the teacher sent an email saying that the football players in her class were using the N-word. Austin, after instigating for most of the class period, especially towards Tehran, continued to speak in an inappropriate manner. Austin called another student a black ass hoe and bragged about how the coaches would not do anything because he is a starter on varsity. The teacher noted that Tehran gets picked on a lot in class by other football players. Another incident was with them and cheerleaders. Hunter was threatening to hit cheerleaders, and the cheerleaders said that they were scared of Hunter and Austin. So they subpoenaed all records from this situation and got the affidavit, and it said Hunter, unprompted, stood up and called the cheerleader a fat and said his hands were bisexual, meaning that he would not only hit guys, but also hit girls. Felt that the Metcalf act out, it says, they felt that the Metcalfs act out time and time again and felt like their behavior was getting out of hand. Hannah, Lysiak also sent an email reporting the behavior. Talked about Hunter's rage being triggered, talked about being genuinely scared of the Metcalfs. Okay? Then it says, during May 2018, Austin and Hunter bullied and assaulted Ashley Jenkins and were arrested for assault. 2018, Metcalf and Jenkins had a shoving incident. Okay, it says document description, May 14, 2018, an incident between Austin Metcalf and Ashley Jenkins marked as Amberly Bergman in the grand jury. This went to the grand jury. Grand jury testimony. It says on May 18, 2018, Ashlyn Jenkins, a student at Bright Elementary School, was participating in a game of Capture the Flag. During PE class, while trying to tag Austin Metcalf, she accidentally touched his face. This angered Austin, who then forcefully shoved Jenkins to the ground using both hands, causing her to suffer bruises and pain in her shoulders. Jenkins went to the hospital where she was diagnosed with a deep bruise contusion on her left shoulder as a result of the trauma. The mom of Jenkins stated, Jenkins is frequently targeted for bullying by Austin and his twin brother, both at school in their neighborhood. Cutney wanted to pursue charges against the Metcalfs for assault causing bodily injury, and the mother said that she felt like this was the last straw. Then on May 24th, 2018, Austin was arrested for assault and causing bodily injury. Now on another incident on May 7, 2024, Austin and Hunter Metcalf assaulted another girl, Sadie Savak. So it says 2024 Metcalf, Metcalf and the Savak assault incident. So a document description of where it says May 7, 2024 incident between Austin Metcalf, Hunter Metcalf, and Sadie Savak. The incident began with an argument between Sadie Savak and Austin after Sadie blew vape smoke in Austin's face. The argument escalated and moved outside the house. Hunter went outside to try to calm Sadie down, but Sadie punched him in the face. Hunter then put Sadie in a full Nelson hold to restrain her. Austin also went outside and grabbed Sadie's arm in an attempt to calm her down, but Sadie accused him of assaulting her. A witness, Jackson Childers, confirmed that he saw Austin grab Sadie's arm but did not see Austin assault her. Sadie's parents later contacted the police, claiming Sadie was assaulted by Austin. Sadie alleged that Austin knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach. The police noted the conflicting accounts of the incident and the lack of physical evidence. Sadie still wanted to press charges against Austin for assault, so the incident was documented. Ultimately, the parents of Sadie and Hunter advised they did not want to pursue criminal charges, and the case was closed for informational purposes only. All right. It says Austin, on another occasion, it says Austin and Hunter messages about getting kicked out of the football game and wanting to beat up kids, saying they were talking crazy. The same phrase Hunter said about Karmelo Anthony. So it says in the Cellbrite messages, someone named William messaged what happened today at the game. How come y'all left? Austin replied, got kicked out. William said, dang, why? Y'all getting a fight or something? Austin said, almost. They were talking crazy and we lost our cool. Austin then said, or Hunter said, they were talking crazy, we lost our cool. Austin then said, I was about to beat the out of these kids. Hunter then said, it's our fault, and bro, Austin, chill. All right. So they have so many disciplinary things on their record. One of the lights just went out. Let me see. I don't know what happened. The light went out. Let me see. Let me see if I can turn it on. 1 second. One second, y'all. Oh, he left. The light went out. Maybe, hold on, let me try to move the other one closer. How do you, can I make it brighter? The other one? I think the battery probably went out. I don't know how to work it. Okay, whatever. The light went out. The light went out. But anyways, so it was a whole lot going on. Let me see if I could come full screen. Let me try to troubleshoot this light situation, and I will come back. So Let me see something really quick. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Did it go out? All right, I'm gonna come back.